What's up, guys? So, I want to give you three reasons why I support President Trump and back him unapologetically. But first, let me give you a little background on me politically. So, go back to 2016, and like most black people, not all, but most, I was politically, just kind of apathetic, right? I didn't pay attention to politics. I was just kind of on the sideline, watching the debates and everything, and just, I wasn't really inspired by either candidate at the time, you know. But my political maturation since then is just it's unbelievable how far I've come. Right? So I went from not supporting either candidate, just kind of passive aggressively just trotting along the sidelines. But what I saw was the Democrats were painting these doomsday scenarios about what would happen if Trump were elected. And so I was skeptical of that, right? Like it's like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, they're crying wolf. They're just saying all these crazy things about Trump. Like, we're going back to slavery. He's going to take us back to the 1800s. And I just thought, like, isn't that a little dramatic, guys? Just a little bit, just a tad bit. So, anyway, fast forward after Trump wins. None of that shit that they said was going to happen happened, right? None of it happened. In fact, quite the opposite happened. And it really made me mad that not only was I lied to about Trump and manipulated, gaslighted, all of those things, I felt like they were gatekeepers. Democrats were playing gatekeepers, and not just Democrats like politicians. I'm talking like the liberal media and, celebrities, entertainers, musicians. They were all uniformly speaking negatively about the president, and I saw that as a way to play gatekeeper and mind control over me. And I don't like mind control. And I felt like it was important for me to make a statement that said, you're not going to control me mentally. So that's where the Trump hat comes in, right? Because it's easy to support Trump without wearing a hat and putting on Make America Great Again attire. You see this flag behind me. But now this hat and all this attire, this represents more than just making America great again. This, for me, is about independence of thought. This is about breaking the mold, piercing through the echo chamber of mind, like, that hive mind that they have created on the left. And, piercing through that is so important. It's making a statement saying, like, I will not be controlled. I'm going to think for myself. I'm going to make decisions based on my worldview and my beliefs and my thoughts and my analysis. And you can't control me. And so, between that and the way that the media lied about Trump supporters, after I moved to Florida, I met so many people who supported Trump. I met so many Republicans, and all I had heard growing up is, Republicans are racist, and people who voted for Trump are racist, and they don't like black people, and all this stuff. I'm like, nothing could be further from the truth. And so I began to wear the hat more proudly, and I started wearing it in public because at first I was nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't know, people might be offended, and, people might say stuff to me, and now I just don't even care. It's more of a statement. It's like it symbolizes freedom. It symbolizes someone who has escaped the liberal thought plantation, because that's what it is. It's a plantation. They talk about how the party switched. How is it that the party switched and Democrats are still mad about black people freeing themselves? They don't like freed black people. They never have, and they still don't. You can see it with Kanye West. If you stray off the liberal thought plantation, you will be publicly lynched. That's what it is. It's a public lynching of Kanye West is what we're seeing right now. So that's reason number one. Reason number two why I support Trump is on principle, right? I fundamentally disagree with this politically correct culture. I hate it. I can't stand it. I feel like it cripples freedom of speech. It cripples conversation. You can't really have debates when one side wants to shut it down and ban you and say you have to say it this way, not that way. And I just feel like the Democrats and liberals and, uh, freaking college professors, you name it, everybody on the left thinks that they are moral authority figures. Therefore, they get to tell us what's right and wrong, what's politically correct. Here's how you have to say it, or you're racist. And on principle, I disagree with it because I'm like, you're not smarter than me. You're just another human that thinks you know what's right, you know what's best. Therefore, you can impose your will because you can claim moral high ground. That's not how it works. And so Trump is like a battering ram against that. He started saying illegal alien when we have been told it's illegal immigrant. You know how the left likes to control the language, manipulate, they want to use double speak. And, now I've learned so much. Again, going back to that political maturation, like I understand the Saul Alinsky playbook. I understand the rules for radicals. I see what they do. And I don't like how they control freedom of speech. Now, when I lived in Minnesota for 5 years, I didn't understand passive aggressive culture and how PC culture plays into that, because you have people up there that, no offense, I know I have friends from Minneapolis. I love that place, but shit didn't get done the way it needed to get done up there because people tiptoed around language. They were so concerned about how things were coming across and certain words you shouldn't say, and maybe you shouldn't say anything at all. And I just couldn't stand it. That's part of the reason why I became more conservative, because I felt like I couldn't be my authentic self there without being shunned or silenced or judged, because people were felt so moral and virtuous by tiptoeing around language and using all these stupid terms like people of color. Like, who decided that that was a thing? Who decided that we should call minorities people of color? Who decided that we should call minorities minorities? Why is it African American? It's American. I'm not from Africa. Yes, I have African descent, but you don't call white people European Americans. You don't call Asians Asian Americans. At least you shouldn't call them that. Because guess what? If I were to go to Africa, they're going to call me American. They're not going to call me African American. They're going to call me American. Why? Because I speak English. Because I'm from America. My skin color doesn't matter. I'm from America. So therefore, I'm an American first to the world. The world sees me as American first. So those kinds of things, like these terms and the language policing, the censoring, Trump is a battering ram against all that. You can't you can't convince me for 1 second that there would be another conservative, Republican, even Democrat candidate that could get as much done on the language and PC culture front as President Trump has. In fact, Obama was the opposite. He was the one who fostered and coddled and pandered to all of this nonsense. So that's reason number two. I can't stand PC culture. Neither can Trump. Neither can most people. And Trump gives a voice to that. He will just say it like it is. He tells it exactly how it is. So I love that about him. And number three, the policies. I love the policies of Trump. I like his personality. I like what he stands for, but I also like his policies. I like the America First agenda. What American wouldn't want an America First agenda? Of course I want the wall built. Why? Because the wall being built makes sure that illegals don't come over here in droves just easy. Some people try to say like, oh yeah, it's not going to work. Building a wall won't change anything. I'm like, it changes a lot. What do you mean? Are you saying we shouldn't have a wall? You notice that's the biggest argument. They're like, a wall won't stop illegal immigration. I'm like, why don't you just say you don't want a wall? Why don't you just say you want open borders and instead of trying to deflect and block and say it doesn't do anything? He wants to build a wall, so that stood out to me, right? The low taxes, he wants to shrink the government. He's rolled back so many regulations, like the stupid individual mandate of Obamacare. I got a taste of that too. 1 year I didn't have a job when it was time to do taxes, and I got hit with that stupid penalty because Obama wanted to force people to buy insurance. It's unconstitutional, which is why he had to implement the tax, because it was unconstitutional to force people to buy health insurance. So I stand on that as well. So Trump with the policies. What's another policy he loves, but he hasn't implemented yet? School choice. School choice is tremendously important to me. That's probably number one for me, because I think the free market should run public education. There shouldn't be state-run education, because state-run education, you're seeing the manifestation of it now. When you have an entire generation, now the largest voting bloc in the US, millennials, an entire generation of people who embrace socialism. They've been indoctrinated. We've been indoctrinated. Most of us have to unlearn that nonsense to hate and envy and be jealous of wealthy people and rich people. Why did we get to a point where we are jealous of rich people? Why do we hate rich people? And why do we champion socialism? Because socialism doesn't make people wealthy. It makes wealthy people poor. All it does is shrink the gap between rich and poor, but it doesn't make poor people not poor. That's the whole point. Socialism needs capitalism to thrive. So people are learning history wrong. We're learning history wrong in school. So Trump, I don't want to get on a tangent there, but Trump supports school choice. If parents want to homeschool their children, let them homeschool their children. Nobody should have more influence over your kids than you. That makes perfect sense to me. That's logic. So I love that policy. Of course, Democrats are against it. Anything Democrats are against, I'm for it. Most things. Probably 95% of Democrat policies, I'm against it. So I love that. I love the low taxes. I love the America First agenda, renegotiating these horrible deals. He's kept us out of wars. He hasn't started a war. So how could I not love his foreign policy? He's standing up to globalist agenda. Did you guys hear what he said to I wish I could remember the quote. I can never remember quotes. So I always say like, oh yeah, that's my disclaimer. I'm not going to butcher the quote, but he said, "America is governed by Americans. You know, we will not surrender our sovereignty to a global, bureaucratic, unelected, unaccountable global society. We will not join that. America is governed by Americans." So I stand for, you know, the sovereignty of this country. I understand the what comes along with living in the United States and the freedoms that we have here. And see that again, that goes back to public education. What are kids learning today that's going to show up in the voting booth when they're adults, when they turn 18? Because that's what it is. They're just generating the next generation of voters, which is why you're seeing this Marxist outrage on all fronts, from mainstream media to social media to backlash and street theater and harassing people because of the Saul Alinsky Rules for Radicals and because of the Communist Manifesto, which is what they're being taught. Pretty much, they're breaking it down and teaching it to kids, and all the other sick, demonic stuff that they're teaching kids, even elementary school kids, that I don't even want to get into. But that's another reason why I support Trump. So, in conclusion, the policies, I love the policies: limited government, low taxes, don't force things on citizens, don't force us to buy health care, don't force anything, renegotiating trade deals, okay? The personality, a lot of people say like, oh, I don't like Trump's personality. I love his personality. I love that he says it like it is. I love that he doesn't talk to me like a politician. He just says it like it is. I love that about him. And then also just on principle, the fact that people say I can't support Trump because I'm black, or I'm a sellout, or I'm something else because I'm black and I support Trump, and I can't be a Republican. I can't love the country. Like that's probably the biggest thing for me, is the fact that people say I can't do it is all the more reason I'm going to double down. I don't back down, I double down. So that's why I support President Trump, and I'm excited. I'm so pumped to be able to meet him. Hopefully I'll be able to shake his hand and get a picture or something when we go to the White House in a couple weeks. If you guys didn't already know, we're going to the White House, Turning Point USA, and the Young Black Leadership Summit. We got an official invite to the White House, so we will be there. I hope CNN is there. I hope everyone gets to see, so that we can show the world that black conservatives are educated. We're not going to be bullied into submitting to that liberal thought plantation that everyone else is on. We're not going to let the Don Lemons of the world kind of rake us over the coals and say like, oh yeah, this is what happened when Negroes don't read. I've read more books than you probably, Don Lemon. And we're well spoken, we're college educated, we think differently, we think for ourselves. You know that saying, great minds think alike? No, great minds think for themselves. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to share. Hit the notifications button, because you know how YouTube is. They will, they're going to continue messing around with channels. They put these stupid algorithms in place. So please make sure you like and comment. Make sure you share it. If you're new, if you want to donate to the channel, I'll put links in the description. And that's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.